Welcome, welcome. I normally play music when I am going live. When I used to go live in Zoom and stuff, but now with us connecting with YouTube, if we play music, we'll get banned or it'll go silent. So I don't want to do that. So welcome. My name's Kevin Harris, and if you're watching this live, thank you so much. It is an honor for this to see you. I'm sitting here making sure we're set up on everything and we've got all of our channels up and running. It looks like we are good on every channel. There we go. And let's one more and we get going. Get a little better at this. All right, here we go. We are good. Welcome. If you're here for the first time, thank you so much for stopping by, whether you're stopping by live or you're stopping by on the recording. I promise you at the end of this 30 minutes, we do a live call every Monday for 30 minutes, specifically towards real estate professionals. And we make sure that we are hitting all the problems, all the pain points that we have, whether you're a real estate agent, a lender, a title marketer, a inspector, or anybody else that's interested in the real estate industry. And we just try to solve a problem one Monday at a time. And I appreciate you joining. So let's get started. Today we are talking about a specific problem that I think a lot of agents have. I've been guilty of this myself and as an agent, and it is that we are invisible. What do I mean by that? We're invisible because we don't know who we're marketing to. We don't know the fact that we say buyers and sellers if you're an agent. So I'm going to speak specifically to the agent side. But maybe you're an inspector and you say, yeah, I want agents, right? And when we speak to everyone, we wind up selling to no one. And I want you to answer this question. If you looked at your last 5 posts, your last 5 videos, your last 5 marketing templates, whatever it is that you have marketed to, is there a place where you can say, I specifically talked to this person, like almost to the name? Because if you can't say that in one sentence, you're on the right 30 minutes, because we're going to talk about it. We need to make sure that when we're marketing, whether we're in social media, whether we're on our print ads, whether we're talking at open houses, that we're specifically having conversation to a niche, to a group, however you want to call it. We're going to talk about that. Here's the truth that nobody tells you in business. Okay. Most of us that got into the real estate profession, we were not marketers before we got into this business. So we're having to figure this out on the fly. As we do business, we're having to figure out how to brand ourselves and how to market and how to do social media and how to do print ads and how to do paid ads and all these things that we really didn't get in the business to do, right? We got in the business to serve clients, whether they're agents, if you're on the vendor side, or buyers and sellers and investors, if you're on the agent side. And if we don't do these things, we won't have those people to serve. Because in the world we live in now, we live in a world of attention. We live in a world of not just monetization of that attention, because that's not what we're really talking about today. We're just talking about how do we speak to someone so that the algorithm, so that when it finds the person we're speaking to, that person stops the scroll, looks at the flyer, looks at the postcard, looks at the paid ad, whatever it is, and stops and goes, hey, wait a minute, this person's talking to me and they're talking about a problem that I have. Today we're gonna kind of dive into how we actually address it. Do we have that problem? And then how do we address it and how do we begin to fix it? So let me give you an example. You walk into a room and let's say this room has 100 people in it. And out of the 100 people, you just go, hey, everyone. And no one turns around, right? I've seen this happen 100 times when I'm in a brokerage coaching agents. I've seen a broker walk in the front of the room, or a team leader, or maybe the one who's, brought me in. And even with the microphone, usually because they have a soft voice or they don't want to come off as, rude, they're like, hey, everyone. And everybody just keeps talking. Everybody just keeps talking. Now, I'm a football coach by trade. You can see the trophy in the background. And so I tell people that I could talk to the coach on a Friday night varsity game. I could talk to them across the field, 54 and a half yards across the field, and they could usually hear me. So I have a commanding voice if I want to use it, and I can usually bring the room to attention. But not most people don't have that ability, either internally or in their marketing. And so what is the difference between just going, hey, everyone, and then also going, hey, Sarah, how's the new baby doing? Right? When you yell out, hey, Sarah, how's the new baby doing? You're specifically talking to one person. And the difference in those two statements is one is broadcasting and the other one is connecting. In the world that we live in, most agents just broadcast. Hey, do you know anybody who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Hey, do you know someone who's looking to list their property in the next 30 days? And we're very general in what we talk to, who we talk to, and then how we phrase those conversations. And the one that wins in the world that we live in now is not the broadcaster, it's the connector. It's the one who actually says something that makes people stop and go, wait a minute, I heard that because it connects with me. It addresses a problem I have. It addresses something that I'm going through or something that I want. So understanding that when we specifically when we're doing marketing, because when we're doing marketing, the people that are watching us for the most part don't know us. They, like I'm talking to real estate professionals right now, specifically agents that are looking to not scale their business per se, although that's part of it. It's really just to get consistent in their business, get where their business is consistently bringing in leads. Okay. And leads are just nothing more than people who are interested in having a conversation about a purchase or a sale of a piece of property. I say in the real estate world, everybody that's in the real estate profession, we're all centered around selling dirt, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. And it's a commodity that is limited. I mean, they're not building any more dirt. Their dirt is the dirt. What if they build on it? Obviously brings the value up, brings the value down, all that stuff. But when we're trying to find the people, we can't help everyone, but we can help a certain amount of the people group that we really want to help. And there's a whole marketing school on how to find out who you want to market to. Some people say they would love to, I hear agents, I've coached thousands of agents over the past decade, and actually probably closer to 15 years now. And when I talk to them, if they've not been trained, if they've not had a conversation, if they've not gotten good at marketing, they'd say, I want to help anybody who's looking. And it's like, I get that, and you're not going to be able to find those people because they won't be able to find you. The free marketing that we get, like right now, I'm talking to people that I probably know and don't know. I've had relationships with and not relationships. I've been in coaching conversations with them and I've not. And I'm only wanting to speak to people who are connecting with, how do you grow a brand? How do you grow your own business so that you're consistent every single month, every single year, and you build a business so that once you get your floor built, your consistency built, then you can start deciding, do you want to scale it? Do you actually want to grow and go from a $5 million a year production into a 10 million, into a 30 million, into a 60 million? Heck, you can go 110 million. I've coached a group of agents as a team, and they had 110 million in production in 1 year. It's great, like over 2 million in gross commissions. And but it was a business, right? They had the person who owned it wasn't really doing real estate at that point. They were running a business. Not everybody wants to do that, right? But if we don't get consistent at the floor level, if we don't get consistent with leads, we're never even going to have the opportunity to do that. So making sure that you actually have a plan around who do you want to talk to. So we've heard this word passed out quite a bit in the world of real estate. I noticed the other day when I was talking to someone who's in the tech world, they've never even heard this word before. So it was kind of funny, but and I don't even know how to say it officially. It's niche. And is it niche or is it niche? in the comment section, if you're watching this, tell me what your preference is. Put niche and put a sh at the end of it, or a niche and put a th at the end of it, just so I know what you prefer. But it's not a dirty word. When I talk to agents, specifically when I talk to agents who are trying to figure this out, they get it. There's a fear inside of them that if they limit who they talk to, they're going to lose business. They're going to lose other business. But that's actually completely backwards of what actually happens in our business and in any marketing business. Here's the reason why. When you talk to everyone, you sound like nobody. You have a generic voice, you have generic content, you have generic results. When you talk to someone specific, first-time homebuyers, military families, people who are downsizing, people who've got credit problems, people who are moving across the country, relocation. When you talk to someone specific, you become an expert, and you sound like an expert in that group because you're reaching out to people who have a specific problem, like someone who's moving from California to Texas. I'm in the great state of Texas. And if they move from California to Texas, they have a very different problem than someone who's moving across town. They have relocation problems. They have to sell a house out of state. They have to get familiar with new laws, new ways of, like, the contracts they sign in California are not the same that they sign in Texas. All the things, and those are all pain points to someone making that move. So addressing those problems they're going to stop and go, wait a minute, I have this problem. I want to hear what the solution is from a marketing standpoint. And here's the cool thing. When you start becoming an expert in one area, being an expert is actually attractive to everyone. Like when I got out of football coaching, I got into real estate. I started doing well in real estate really early on because I hustled and I just did anything I could to find people. And one of the things that it was apparent really quick was that even though I had not had a ton of experience in real estate, but because I was posting, because I was closing deals, I had people from my coaching world, the parents, that looked at me towards like the expert because I knew what I knew what they had gone through. We had some common bonds, common interests, because I'd coached their sons, or maybe their daughters went through my program when I was the athletic director. And so we had some commonality, and they knew that I knew what they were going through. Does that make sense? So whatever that is in your world, whether it's something that you have in your past or something you want to develop, we've got to get good at understanding that the niching down into a specific conversation with people is how you break out from the commodity of real estate. Because I will tell you, in the DFW area, we have somewhere between, we have somewhere between 40 to 50,000 agents at any one time in our market. And I always tell agents when I'm talking to them locally is, if that's the case, and it is, if that's the case, then here's the question. Why you? Like, why would someone pick you, and who is that person that's going to pick you? If you don't have marketing and you don't have a brand awareness around that, you're always going to be struggling in the commodity space. You're always going to be struggling with your compensation conversations and being able to help someone understand why they need you. You're always going to be having those conversations because you're not seen as an expert in anything. So making sure that you become an expert in one area, in one people group, it will expand into other parts, because if you're an expert in one, you're probably pretty good in everything else. At least that's the thought. Okay. So number three, here's the content test that I want you to go through today. Now, you can do it while you're watching this live if you want, but you can also do it afterwards. Put it in the chat. But here's the test. Look at your past 5 posts. Look at the past 5 posts that you've done, whether it's a reel, whether it's a YouTube short, whether it's TikTok, whether it's a standard post, carousel, Facebook, it doesn't matter. Look at the past 5. And could any agent in your market have posted what you posted? Like the content itself. Like maybe you did a home tour, but you didn't specifically talk to somebody specific. You didn't specifically tell them about your brand. You didn't specifically set yourself apart from other agents. Excuse me. This is what's bad about live. You sneeze, you need to sneeze. So because you didn't specifically stand out, can any agent have posted that? Could any of agent have ran that content through their channel and did the exact same? So here's the other part. If you say yes to that, then from a social media standpoint or from a marketing standpoint, you have just become invisible. Like you are invisible right now. You know, if you're a wrestling fan, which I used to be, I don't watch it as much as I used to, but when I was a wrestling fan, there was a guy named John Cena. If you know John Cena, put yes in the chat. Okay, I love to see interaction as people are watching this. But if you're a John Cena fan, one of the things that he used to do was this. Okay, and what he meant was like, you can't see me. Okay, because he's so quick and he's so elusive and all those things. Well, if you can't see you, that's good in wrestling. It's terrible in the marketing world. It's terrible in the real estate world. They need to be able to see you. Okay. Your content has to sound exactly like it's only coming from you, to your story, to your niche, your voice. It's not a tagline that you put. It's the whole game of what we're trying to do. Without you specifically reaching out to a group, you're always just going to be noise in the ether. And I know it's counterintuitive for most people, but most people don't have a marketing background. Most marketing backgrounds, why did they run cereal commercials back in the 70s? If you're old enough and you have gray hair like me, why did they run cereal commercials on Saturday mornings? It wasn't for the adults to buy cereal. It was for the kids, because the kids watch cartoons on Saturday mornings. It's 7 before cable and before the internet. That you watch cartoons on one of two channels, and every commercial was geared towards children and a specific age group usually, which was somewhere between 5 and 10, because that was the consumer of most of the cereal. Now it's been around forever, but we have never had the opportunity to build our own marketing platform. When, 30 years ago, if you wanted marketing in your business, especially real estate business, you had to pay someone thousands of dollars to figure this out. Well, now, and you can still pay people thousands of dollars to do it, but if you want to do it with a little to no cost, you've got to do the work. And I'll tell you a little hack here at the end, if you continue watching this, of how you can do the work for next to nothing. Okay, while you can still be selling and buying, helping people buy and sell without having to actually be the marketing guru. Okay, so number 5. So number 3 is number 3 was the content test. So making sure, looking at your content. Number 4, here's what I want you to ask from that content. Okay, so here's the filter. Write these 3 questions down that you can actually put into your workflow, that every social post, every video, everything should answer these 3 questions minimal. Okay, number 1, who is this exactly for? Who is this exactly for? Okay, so if you can't say who this is for, you're too generic. You're too general. You need to get very specific. Who is it for? This is for first-time home buyers between 25 and 35 who live in apartments. Okay, you can even say live in apartments and north side of town. Well, because if there is a pain point that is specific to a geographic area or a socioeconomic area, then that's what's going to stand out in that post. So number 1, whose exactly is this for? Number 2, what problem does this person have that nobody else is naming it out, that nobody else is naming it out loud? So what problem does this person have that nobody else is naming it out loud? Okay, first-time home buyers, what's one of the pain points that they have that no one's talking about? Well, one of the pain points is most first-time home buyers don't have a lot of money to put down. Most first-time home buyers are usually going to be in a starter home or a home that's on the lower side of the median price, because most start out when they're younger and they haven't made as much money, they haven't built up as much equity, they don't have as many financial wins yet. Okay, now that's not everybody, but it's the majority of first time homebuyers. What are military? I'm not a I love the military. I'm very patriotic and I love helping military people. Um, but what is one of the military problems? What is someone who's coming out of the military? Maybe they're going into the reserves. What are some of their problems? Well, most of them want to run a VA, and they should. But there's a lot of agents out there that do not want to work with VA because of past problems in the government, and they perceived problems of VAs and problems like that. And I love working with people that have VAs. They're zero down. There's certain qualifications, but if you structure it right, you get a huge happy camper at the end because they were able to get into that house with little to no money down, and they should for the service that they have given to their country. So saying that, those are pain points that are specific to them. Make sense? So what problem does this person have that nobody else is naming out loud? Number three. So number one, what exactly is this for? Who exactly is this for? Number two, what problem this person have that no one else is naming out loud? And number three, could a stranger tell who am I and who I serve just from reading the post? Could a stranger coming on your channel, someone who's auditing a post that you have, maybe it's a coach, maybe it's just your peer, could they look at that post from the description and know exactly who are you, and who are you serving? If they can't, okay, if you can't answer yes to all three of those, then I would tell you before you post, sharpen it up a little bit, okay? Get a little more specific. Most of the time when we say we're specific, we're still not specific enough. And if you listen to Gary Vee, I love Gary Vee. Shout out to Gary Vaynerchuk. He's one of my far away mentors. He's in my brain trust and my AI bot that I have. And some of his content that he has is based off of people that are not working in the real estate industry, and they don't have the scalability. What he says is almost always 100% true, but it's where he's at. Like 100 pieces of content a day, or you're not going to win. Okay. That's true if you're trying to build a big giant company. Okay. But you probably can't do 100 pieces of content. I would tell you could if you use AI, but most of us aren't there yet, is what I'm saying. So don't get worried. Don't get discouraged when you hear guys like that. Just lean into the fact that understand what they're trying to tell you is that attention matters. Okay. The algorithm awards attention. So making sure you have enough content that you start getting attention is the way, and attention to who? The algorithm is notorious, no matter what algorithm we're talking about, is notorious for not sending your stuff out if it can't determine who you're trying to talk to. If you say buyers and sellers, that's not going to work. Okay, you got to be specific for you to get any traction on the algorithm. So number 5, what are the small steps that we can take? Here's a couple. You don't have to overhaul everything in your social media. Don't start a new channel or anything like that. Just start picking one audience that you want to start talking to. Maybe it's not every post you do, but maybe it is. Okay. Especially if you're only doing 3 or 4 posts a week, or you're only doing one piece of long form content on YouTube, you need to start specifically talking to one person. So just not changing, but just altering, just adding to it. In the world of football coaching, we call it running an audible. You're just going to run an audible. You thought you were going to do this. Now you're just moving to the left just a little bit, or to the right, not to get political. And if you do that, I promise that you will start to see a different result. Here's the challenge. Write your next 3 posts, just 3, speaking directly to one person. I used to have, I do a whole class on branding when I do CE classes in Texas. And I have some online stuff that I do in our coaching group. And one of the things I used to talk about is I used to put up a picture of a girl. Her name was Sarah. Her husband was John, and they had a little kid named Johnny. And I learned this long ago when I first started in coaching. I had a great mentor. And I'd started talking to Sarah every time I did open houses, all my marketing, all my Facebook posts, all my live videos. I was trying to speak to Sarah. I was trying to figure out where Sarah was and how can I address her. But let me tell you who Sarah was. Sarah was, and John and Johnny, they were fairly young, in their late 20s, early 30s, moving into their working careers. They bought a house when they were 24 years old, and at 24, she found out she was pregnant. So she got Johnny at 25. Now it's 6 years later, and she's pregnant again. What is her pain point? Her pain point was that they had a house that they bought before they had kids. Then they had Johnny, and now she's pregnant with their second. The house is too small. So they need to sell the smaller house and move up to a bigger house. The reason why I picked that person was because that was me and my wife when we were growing up. I got married young, we had kids young, and we went through that same process. I knew those pain points because I lived them. Okay. And here's the thing. Sarah was a fictional person. Like, she didn't actually exist, but here was the thing. As I started speaking to Sarah, guess who people started showing up in my database, showing up in my lead flow? It were people that resembled Sarah and her story, because I was speaking into those people who had the same pain points that I had and me and my wife had when we were raising our kids. So I just say, the more specific you can get about your post, the next 3 posts, pick something. Okay. Military downsizing, socioeconomic place, people group, it doesn't matter. You know, in real estate, we have to be fair. There's certain posts that we can and cannot do because of laws and things like that. So, you know, be aware of that, but making sure that you're speaking to, and I would encourage you to name them. Okay. Like, I had her picture on my post. Like, if you looked at my setup right now, my wall's about 2 foot behind me. And I used to have it there where I'd have her picture so that when I was speaking to people, I was trying to find where Sarah was. Okay. And then watch, as you start to do this, watch your next 3 posts and watch your engagement start to go up, watch your comments start to go up, your likes, your shares, if you're specific enough. And if you have decent content, it doesn't have to be great content, but it has to be decent. Okay. If you have specific wins, I would love to hear them. Okay. I'm inviting you to be part of our group, be part of our community. So I want to ask a couple things as we close this down. If this has been anything that maybe you haven't heard about, or maybe you heard about and you forgot about, put I see it, ISEE it in it. So like, you see what you need to do. Okay. I'd love to see that in the comments, because it gives me the ability to see if this content for you guys, because this content's free. I give away almost all of my content, whether it's through lives or whether it's through coaching and trainings and things like that, because I just want to help you succeed. In my world, I call it, I want to help you become the hero in your own story. The Hero Edge, which is my coaching company, is to uncover, discover, and realize the hero in your own story, which is you. Okay. If you got into business, if you got into this real estate business, you got into it for a reason. You got into it because you wanted to succeed at some level. Success is different for everyone. Freedom of time, freedom of money, paying off loans, buying the new car, buying the first house, building wealth. All of that can be done in the real estate industry. And we all got into it for some reason. Most of us got into this business as a second or a third, or in my case, a 4th career. So most of us don't like dream about this when we're kids, but we get into it because we see the opportunity, and then we struggle with actually building the business that we want. My hope and goal is to help you build that business and help you actually become consistent and win at the game of real estate, no matter what that means to you. It's a different game for everyone. Consistency is the key to the game. Consistency of your posting, consistency of your content, consistency of your connection, consistency of your clients. That's the key to this game. So if you've got anything out of this, I would love to hear from you. If you're watching this on YouTube, or if you want to follow the YouTube channel, we're going to start dropping a lot more content in it. It's the Kevin Harris 1 on YouTube. Like, subscribe, hit the proverbial bell for notifications, so that when we go live or when we drop something, you'll know. I do this from 11 o'clock to 11:30 Central Standard Time every Monday. And I would love to be able to interact with you, see you at one of my coaching sessions. We've got communities in Virginia. We've got communities in Tyler. We're going to be opening one up in Vegas. We've got it in DFW, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, and all parts of the United States to come. So I would love to be somebody that will help you build your business. Like I said, most of my content's free. I'm just here to help. And some people want to go to a deeper relationship, and that's how I get rewarded by that. But put in the comment section anything that you want me to speak on in the next few weeks, and I'll promise you that if it works for the community, I'll build a training, a coaching, a session around it, and I'll help you become the hero in your own story. And with that, my tagline is, heroes are not born, they're built. So let me help you build your hero story. All right, guys, have a blessed week. Peace and love. Go be the hero in your own story.